Hey you guys, it's your girl Nessa and I have a beautiful makeup tutorial for you guys today on my beautiful client. She is more of a deeper complexion, so I want to show you guys how I do my clients that are more deeper tone. And if you want to see how I do this look, just keep on watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I post videos. So first I'm going to start off with some primer. This primer is the e.l.f. primer and I'm using a brush to buff this in. Make sure you buff this primer in very well. I will have all the products that I use today listed below for you guys as well. But with this primer, I'm obsessed with it. Just make sure you blend it in into the skin. Next, I'm going in with the Born This Way foundation. As you guys can see, I do go in with 3 shades. I do put the lighter shade in the middle of her face, and I do mix the other 2 darker shades for the outer primers of her face. I am using a foundation brush, and I am applying some Morphe setting spray onto the brush, and I am patting this foundation into her skin. I really don't buff, I do more patting because I feel like when you pat, it makes the foundation blend out a lot better and not using so much product. The reason why I like using 2 different foundations, well, 2 to 3 foundations on my clients, is because naturally everyone has different tones on their face. They're usually lighter in the center and darker on the outer parts. So I like to match the foundations to the areas of the face. I am going with concealer. This concealer looks pretty light, but I promise you guys, I like a good bright under eye, and it definitely looks really good once I blend it in. So now I'm going to go in with a brush, and this is a Real Technique brush. It's like a foundation brush. I'm going to use this brush to blend out the concealer first, and then I'm going to go in with the wet beauty sponge and blend it out even more. I feel like with the brush, I like the blending that it does compared to a sponge, because I feel like a sponge sometimes takes up too much of the concealer, if you know what I mean. I feel like with the brush just helps smooth concealer out a lot better. So that's just my preference. You still can use a sponge, but try out using a brush first and then using the sponge just to smooth under eyes out before applying the powder on your eyes. So as you can see, I am using a sponge to blend out her under eyes. I do pick up a little bit more of that concealer and apply it to the inner part of her eyes just to give that under eyes more of a brighter look, because I love me a good bright under eye. This is totally optional. I like doing this for my clients just because I am a full glam makeup artist. I love a bright under eye, so I do go a little extra. This is just going to make the under eyes look a little bit more dramatic and more bright. So now I'm going to go in with some cream contour. I am using a concealer that's about 3 to 4 shades darker than her skin tone, and I'm blending this all on the outer primers of her face. I like to cream contour my clients sometimes just because if you ever feel like your foundation's too light, this will help, of course, make it darker. Also too, I feel like this makes the foundation photograph very well, so you're not super light on the face. Next, I'm going in with some translucent powder, and I put some on my hand and then press it to her under eyes. I do use a little bit of an extra translucent powder just to sit it underneath her eyes to give that bright under eye effect. The trick with this, especially with your darker skin girls, is you do not want to use a lot of powder. You want to use a very thin amount of powder for underneath the eyes if you are baking. I know I used to never say like I used to hate baking, but I do bake a little bit, but I don't put a lot of powder on my client's face. Next, as you can see, I'm going in with the Sephora face powder, and oh my gosh, you guys. I know I used these before in my old videos, but I just started recently using it on my clients, and when I tell you guys, it literally is the dupe for the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. You have to get it. You have to get it. It's the bomb. As you can see, I am putting a little bit of translucent powder in the center of her brows and down her nose. This is going to help with the nose contouring later on. So now I'm going in with eyebrows. I am using a pomade to do her eyebrows. For eyebrows, what I like to do is I like to make a line underneath the brows. As you can see, I'm doing long strokes and I'm taking my time. I'm following the actual shape of her brow underneath, and then I'm filling in the tail of the brow, the top of the brow, and I really don't touch nothing in the front really. I do flick it up a little bit just to make it look like that ombre effect, but I don't add any extra product, especially when I'm doing the front part of the brows. The trick for using pomades is definitely being very light-handed and doing long strokes. When you do long strokes, it makes the brow look more natural, and the pomade shows like a true brown color instead of like a super dark brown. The brow pomade that I'm using is from Morphe and it's in the shade Chocolate Mousse. As you can see, I do have a lot on my hand, but it's really not that much. I just spread the product out and warm the product up on the back of my hand before applying it onto my client's eyebrows. Always brush the brows upwards when you are filling in the eyebrows. So for concealer, I do use a concealer that's closer to her skin tone for the front part of her brows, and I do it from the front part to the arch of her brow, and then I go in with a concealer that's about 1 to 2 shades lighter than her skin tone for the tail part of her brow. I like using 2 different concealers for the brows is because personally, I'm not a big fan of the light underbrows. It do look pretty light, but once you blend it out, it looks a lot better. I do blend it out with a darker concealer that's closer to her skin tone once I'm done concealing the brows. This just gives it a very nice highlighted look, especially where the arch of the brow is. The brush that I'm using is a Morphe brush. It's a Morphe concealer brush. I will have a link below for you guys. For all my girls, definitely get your hands on this brush. This brush is only $8. It is a steal, so definitely make sure you grab this brush if you don't have it already. I own like 10 of them. They're literally the best, especially for concealing the eyebrows. It's super thin, it's big, and it literally makes concealing the eyebrows so easy. The only thing I recommend is to definitely take your time whenever you're when you're concealing your eyebrows. As you can see, I am blending it out, and I am picking up that concealer that's closer to her skin tone and blending out the concealer. So now I'm going in with some translucent powder and the beauty sponge, and I'm applying translucent powder on her lid. This is very important because we're using concealer for her lid, and we do not want that concealer to crease at all. And as you can see, I am putting some more translucent powder down her nose just to help out with the nose contouring later on. And I am going to be using Juvia's Place bronzer palettes in the shade Dark, and I am going to be blending this into her crease. If you don't have these bronzers yet, go get it. I can't explain how much I love it. Like, when I tell you guys it's one of the best bronzers on the makeup products right now, it's the best bronzer ever. You would not regret it. It's good for your face, for eyes, and the colors is amazing. Amazing. I can't say nothing bad about this bronzer. So definitely get your hands on it. I do recommend all the shades. And I am using both of the shades that come in the bronzer palette. I go in with the lighter shade first in her crease, and then I go in with the darker shade and apply that all over her lid. Now I'm going back in with the same bronzer palette and I'm applying this on her face. So when you're applying bronzer, especially if your client doesn't want to smile, as you can see my client isn't, we was having a very serious conversation, but I like to apply this bronzer on her cheekbone. You want to push this bronzer on the cheekbone, like almost like you're applying blush basically. You don't want to move the brush back and forth. You want to do circular motions when you are applying the bronzer, especially on the cheeks. As you can see, I'm applying it like it's blush. This is very important just because you don't want your client's face to look droopy. This is going to give her a nice contour look, but still like sun-kissed, but very natural, if that makes any type of sense. But as you can see, this bronzer looks amazing on her skin. So now I'm going to nose contour, and I'm using the same exact bronzer palettes. I'm just going with the lighter shade, and I'm applying this on the sides of her nose. And as you can see, I still have that translucent powder in the center of her nose. That's going to help give the nose a snatch look. I really don't like cream contouring the nose. I feel like I'm a little heavy-handed when it comes to blending the nose, and I just don't want to overdo the nose contouring. So I just personally like using powders. I'm going with a little translucent powder just to apply it underneath the bronzer because I do get a little heavy-handed with the bronzer, and I just use it to clean it up. And then I'm going in with a lighter Sephora powder. You guys, please go get these powders. They're so fire. And like I said, they're literally dupes for the MAC mineralized skin finish. Like fire. I promise you guys. You guys will not regret it. It makes the skin look so smooth, and it looks like a filter in real life. So now I'm going in with some blush. I love me a good hot pink blush. I don't know what it is now. I love hot pink blushes. And they look beautiful. Beautiful on everyone. Especially this blush. I love this blush on myself as well. It's beautiful. And now I'm just going to go back in with that foundation brush that I had used for her foundation earlier with no extra product, just to dust off any of the translucent powder. And then I do apply a little bit more bronzer just because I felt like it was a little too high up. So I just applied bronzer just to make the bronzer come down a little bit. That's chiseling out the underneath the contour wasn't really necessary because I do basically do the same exact thing again. So now I'm going in with the dark deep bronzer palette from Juvia's Place just to put it underneath her waterline. Her eyes are very sensitive, so I really didn't put any black liner underneath because I didn't want her eyes to water. And now I'm going in with some black gel liner, and I'm going to put this on her lash line. I do this for my clients that have lash extensions because you don't want to put liquid liner near the lash extensions. Please don't kill me. I did put lashes on her, but I asked her if it was okay if I put lashes on her first before applying any lashes on. So do not come for me, you guys. She let me put lashes on top of her lash extensions. Now I'm going in with some brown eyeliner. Yes, eyeliner. I'm using a brown eyeliner to line her lips. I personally like using eyeliners for my clients because it just glides on so much easier than an actual lip liner. In my preference, try it out. I promise you, you will love it. And then I'm going in with some liquid lipstick from my brand, which I'll have a link below for you guys. Definitely shop. And I'm applying this onto the center of her lips, and then I'm going to put some gloss on. This gloss is one of my favorite glosses for my lip gloss line as well, so definitely check it out. It's super pink, very flirty, very fun. Who doesn't love a good pinky lip gloss? And then I do finish it off with the One Size face powder. This is the matte one fire. It'll make sure makeup lasts all day. I promise you, your makeup will last all day. And this is basically the completed look. What do you guys think? I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was super fun, super easy creating this look. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, comment below what your thoughts, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then that notification bell so you know when I post. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you guys.